Yeah, Myles Garrett. Yeah, he's one of the best players in the league, and he's somebody you got to know. You got to know where he's at, and I think it's a lot of credit to him. He plays hard, and he's disruptive, and he's good in the run game and the pass game, and it's going to be a tough challenge.
Aw, shucks, Drake. You're up to the task. I know the Browns defense is rated #1 overall in total defense, but I believe in you, Drake. We'll break down, of course, the Patriots matchup against the Browns, and we're talking Celtics, too.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Everybody knows exactly what's going to happen. We're not going to ever ask him to come back. We're assuming he's not coming back, and we're not even going to have any discussions about it. If at the end of, at some point, he's going to be ready to come back, whenever that is, we'll get 5 doctors' opinions. We'll ask him how he feels, and then we'll all decide jointly, let's do this.
All right, Wick, I hear you. I ain't a doctor, but they could have used Jason Tatum last night against the 76ers, couldn't they? More on that later. Let's skate to the ice right now, though.
What does events like this mean? Because, as you know, hockey can be a very expensive sport, hard to get into. A lot of sacrifices are made amongst neighbors and friends. Now you have this opportunity for free.
Absolutely. It's great. Great for the kids. Just talking to some of them, seems like they come from all over, even some from out of state. So it's great to see them all just come out and have a lot of fun.
Great job, Case. Let's see if Michael Callahan can help the Bees get back on track tonight at home against the Ducks. You know what? Let's just get the show started. Roll that open. Yeah, baby. You know what it is. Boston has entered the chat on a Thursday, October 23rd. I like to call it Friday Eve. Welcome into our Salem 5 studios. Travis Thomas, the Kasey Hudson in the house. How are you?
I'm great. It feels very Friday Eve. But
Yes.
maybe it's like all of the sports that we have going on. We've got the Bees, we've got the C's, we've got the Patriots.
Yep.
We've got so much. But it really feels like fall. You guys know I bring it back to the temperature.
You're very
I'm
fall
drinking
today. I
iced
like
coffee
this.
like a real New Englander, too.
I like the fall. Can we show the
Okay.
nails on the ISOCam? How about the fall nails?
It's just
Casey's
your
going
basic
all out.
stuff.
It's
Just
I love
your
it.
basic stuff.
I love
There
it.
you go.
I love it. Spooky season.
effect.
617-790-0928. Call us. Get in here. We want to talk everything. Let's start with the Patriots, though. Because, look.
Their spooky matchup versus
It is a
defense.
spooky matchup. You know why? Because you look at it on paper and you go, the Browns, please, keep the win streak rocking. But you look around. This Browns defense, #1 in total defense.
Yeah.
They are no slouch. In fact, I'm looking at the roster this morning before the show. In totality. I'm like, damn, this is a really good team.
Yeah.
They had players up and down the roster offensively, too. Receivers, tight ends, running backs. The quarterback is a mess for them. So I think most of us feel as though the Patriots are going to win this game, okay? But this defense is a real test for this young stud quarterback who we just heard from in Drake Maye. And I know that game managing gets a bad rap for quarterbacks around this league, but I actually think this week, Kasey, that's exactly what Drake needs to do. Just don't turn the ball. Let's examine the
clean
definition
sheet.
of that, right?
Yeah.
Don't crash the car.
Yeah.
Don't throw interceptions. Don't have fumbles. Protect the ball. No turnovers, which he's been great at lately. But this defense is a different animal. If he can do that against the Browns, it may be ugly. It may be low scoring. Who cares? Get a win. I think an efficient Drake Maye can get that done.
I think that it's going to come down to Drake Maye being like not the leader, but the orchestrator of how things are going to go here, because he's going to be the one in those pressured pocket situations. He can't panic, because that panic will create those turnovers. And that's exactly what Myles Garrett is going to be counting on. A big fear here, why this gets really spooky for a second, is that you got Garrett coming at the left side of this Patriots offensive line, and that hasn't been their strong, suitable side to make sure that Drake Maye stays upright. It's been Will Campbell on the other end, and it's been the pass protection that's come in strong for this team. And you look at the numbers and you're thinking, well, the Dolphins weren't anywhere in it, but any success, which still feels like a poor word to use, that the Dolphins found was Achane on the ground. I mean, eating up 82 yards to make sure that they tried to get into any sort of contention here. So we've talked about the run game, but I agree with you 100%. I think this is going to come down to how Drake Maye decides to orchestrate. I think that there's a little bit of a polish point to the fact that Drake Maye has actually got a good release time on the ball. So as long as he remains composed, regardless of what's going on around him, which I was just giving him flowers the other day because Chase Young, is it Chase?
Yeah.
For the Saints? all up in his face, zero phase out of Drake Maye. So if he can have that same rapport and make sure that I see a lot more of those short underneath passes maybe taking effect, because if you've got a defense that's just jamming up at you at the line, coming in hot, all of their bodies are right there in your face, then you're going to find some space right there. And you've got a veteran in Stephon Diggs who can very much make those plays happen. And he's going to want to have a bit of a louder game, I feel.
Yeah, look, you make a lot of great points. I think during the dynasty years with Brady, sometimes when you didn't have a consistent run game, that short passing game you're talking about is kind of like an extension of the run game.
It is.
Right? And instead of giving it to a back behind you to try to run through a damn brick wall, which is what the Browns defense is, maybe you throw it to the outside.
What's that game you used to play as a kid where you link arms or whatever? And you,
and you try to, you get someone in open space, an athlete.
Thank you, Red Rover.
Thank you. Thank you. You get a Stephon Diggs, to your point, in the open field, maybe he can make a move and make someone miss. I agree with you there. I just wish Ramondre Stevenson can run his style against this Browns defense, and they can get a run game going, a true run game going, and he doesn't fumble the ball. My issue is I have trust issues with if he can do that or not.
We haven't seen consistency
that
yet. And that's the only reason why I'm like, look, this would be a great game to be, again, we've said it for weeks now, to be like run game coming strong for the Patriots, and this is where they'll get, stay upright over the Browns. But we're not sure what happens with the ball security. I mean, getting the running backs involved, I still don't even look at it as like a rush yard performance. I look at it as Trey Henderson catching those quick passes as well. Like, use his pass catching ability. For some reason, I'm just not confidently locked in on saying like this is going to be a run game heavy situation for the Patriots to find success. I think this is where you have to trust Drake Maye to kind of weather certain storms.
Yes.
Also, though, I mean, bad comparison because Dylan Gabriel is not up to par, but like the amount of times that he just used his legs to try to gain some ground for the Browns and make things uncomfortable, but then he tries to get off quick passes. This is where the Patriots defense can very much create those turnovers and opportunities.
Yes.
But Drake Maye could be more efficient and effective with his size and with, just his mobility, better consistent mobility. So those design runs that you talked about before the season even started, maybe they have that as majority of their run game. And then everything else is those short passes just to simply get them down the field. Like, I don't want to see really any big takeoffs try to take place for Drake Maye with this and the time that he's going to have to make those decisions.
And if you do, please protect yourself, because this defense will take you out of there. And we have had a couple scares this season with Drake Maye on the move.
That blindside blitz.
Oh, please just get down, get out of bounds, do something, protect yourself. We agree it's a big test for Drake Maye. Does he? Here he is on the Browns defense.
Yeah, they're really good. So they got one of the best players in football. They have some young guys that are real good. I think play some man. They play tight covers. They're probably one of the best cornerback duos we'll see. When they do mix up zone, they get good job of keeping their eyes on the quarterback and making plays in the football. See that last week. So we got a tough challenge, and it's going to start another game at home. So it's going to be good getting back at home, but we know we got a tough challenge. Yeah, Myles Garrett. Yeah, he's he's one of the best players in the league, and he's somebody you got to know. You got to know where he's at, and I think it's a lot of credit to him. He plays hard, and he's disruptive, and he's good in the run game and the pass game, and it's going to be a tough challenge. Just be cognizant of kind of the point of the play, and being good in quick game, being good when we are trying to hold a little longer. Just know the outlets, and we talk about outlets and scramble and throwaways, and just being smart with the football, and just going after the next play. I think they do a good job when they do get to the quarterback of going after football, especially Myles in his career. So just being go two hands on it, and knowing the outlets, and knowing when the play may be over. I think they do a good job when they're man playing man. They're up on you, and they do a good job of disguising to this kind of junk cover 2 look where the deep safety comes in and plays the middle runner. He's good at. I think he caught a pick last week on it, so they do a good job of making plays out of it. And I think it's something that you got to be aware of and know when it looks like man and they go to zone, or throughout I think all downs they do a good job of it. So it's a great defensive coordinator, and they do a good job.
Case, we talked about this offensive line and it being a test for them against the Browns defense, especially a Myles Garrett, who Drake Maye mentioned there. The thing about Myles Garrett that makes him so great is not that he can just rush the passer. I think all great defensive ends like him can do that in their sleep, right? But he's also good against the run. Yeah. So if I'm making this game plan and I'm Josh McDaniels, I'm staying away from his big arse. I'm not even going to that side. I know he can rush me, and I know if I'm trying to get the run game established to his side, It ain't happening.
Exactly.
So everything I do is going opposite of a Myles Garrett. And by the way, Case, this is with an improved offensive line with the Patriots.
You still
I'm
have
still
to be
doing
cognizant, though, because you got Malik Collins that is going to be counteracting on the other side equally as effective as
I'll take my
standing up
chances.
the run and then coming in
I'll take
hot.
my chances
But
with
this
him.
is why I'm saying, like, is this where we preach run game, or is this where we see if he can take 2.57 seconds in the pocket and find your slot machine in Stephon Diggs? And I don't mean to always bring it back to Stephon Diggs, but I remember when Tom Brady would have to go up against really excruciating blitz-heavy teams. And at least when he came to Tampa Bay, it was like, hey, shoot your shot at your slot guy. Short and sweet to the slot. And it was Chris Godwin and Tom Brady, time and time again, just chunking away little by little, because then you're looking at the secondary matchups. Well, I think it would be looking like Keyshawn Boutte going against Campbell. Campbell, who has now been acquired by the Browns. So if he's going to have another big performance where he's getting his hand on the ball, deflecting passes, jumping them down, and then getting a pick six, we don't want to see no pick six action from the Browns against the Patriots. So if Boutte's going to have a tall task ahead of him, and where Campbell comes in strong is his speed. I mean, the guy's a freaking track star out on the field, so coverage-wise, he's going to be very irritating. That's just going to kind of open up this small pathway to Stephon Diggs or anyone else who's going to be active in the slot.
Let's hear from the head coach. Braves knows a thing or two about great defenses. Here's what he says about the Browns defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think just statistically and play style, you know, they're playing at a high level. They're playing with a lot of confidence. It's a lot of speed, a lot of disruption. You know, they don't give you a whole lot of time to make decisions. And then there's enough, you know, change-ups in there that, you know, you just have to be good. You have to be sound. And you can't hold on to the ball. You know, coverage is sticky and the linebackers are fast. Well, they're fast. You know, I mean, they're disruptive. You know, they put pressure on the quarterback, and they do it through their players and their identity. You know, I mean, they understand what they want to do and how they want to play, and they want to force you into mistakes. If you give up loose plays or guys get on the edge of somebody or somebody, you know, you got an elite edge rusher on the outside, and if you know you can't step up, it's going to be hard to protect. You know, and then the corners are going to be sticky, and you know the linebackers can run. Safeties are very good tacklers, and that's the thing that I've noticed is that, you know, if a ball breaks, it's 8 yards is a really long run for this against this team because the safeties are such good tacklers. You know, Grant and Ronnie.
I mean, that's a great soundbite for two reasons. Obviously, Vrabel knows great defense. Okay, check. Secondly, people forget he was a consultant for the Browns before taking this job. So he knows that roster. And even hearing
he knows that defense.
He knows all of it.
Yeah.
And even hearing him talk about the defense, you just hear like fundamentally sound. Like, hey, they tackle well. You don't get big plays against them. This is why it goes back to what we said, Case. This is the Drake Maye efficient game. You may not get MVP numbers in this game. Now, if you do, we're having a different conversation. If he goes for 350 against the Browns and 3 tutties, no picks, now we're talking, okay? I don't think that's going to happen. I think this will be that efficient week for him.
Very sound game all around. And that's all we want. That's all we want. He's due for that simple game.
Well, listen, he's not going to have a really good game without Stephon Diggs. Here's Diggs on the Browns defense.
Obviously, they got some stars up front. They're active in the back end. They fly around. Real well-coached defense. I think you can obviously see it jumps off at the tape that it's going to be just another challenge for us. So, yeah, and the number 1 ranked defense in the league kind of speaks for itself. If you watch the tape a little bit, you see it's going to be good. It's going to be big for us to be on the details and, you know, be open. I mean, I don't think it's something that you got to get up for every game. You know, I don't think it's like it's no different from any other week as far as like being on the details. It's not like something that they all count as one when you're trying to win it. I feel like it's just, you know, more so like a team thing where though you got to be on the details and not too much like getting up for it. You better be up for it, you know, or it's going to go in another direction. You know, I'm going to be excited and I'm going to have the want to like I have each and every week. So I just think you got different DBs that play different ways. Some guys play through their hands, some guys play through their eyes, play what they see. In practice, it's kind of a little bit easier because they can't see your eyes, but in the game, guys who play anticipation or play through the hands, which majority of DBs do just because if you're in trail or you're playing catch technique, catching up to a receiver, it's all relatively close. Everybody's pretty much the same speed unless you're blazing fast and running by everybody, but being able to react late, you know, and you got to have a halfway decent quarterback for real. So, you know, I'm just doing my job. I've been doing that for a while, so I don't think too much of it.
We'll save predictions for tomorrow, but my gut says this is going to be a low-scoring game, and I agree with you in terms of some of these slot receivers. A Stephon Diggs, a Pop Douglas could have a big game. Kayshon Boutte seems like kind of the big home run hitter in this offense. But look, I think you have a ton of.
Like I said, Campbell ran like a 4.36 for his 40, and you're going against Boutte who ran like a 4.5.
I just look at this as the Patriots, and this is going to sound like a diss. I don't mean it this way, but the Patriots have a ton of slot receivers.
Yeah.
That's some of the issue, in my opinion. Although Boutte has sort of evolved into the big play guy.
Yeah.
So I think, in a way, if Drake can get rid of it quickly,
yes,
get it in the hands of the playmakers on the outside, you should be okay conceivably. Here's the other thing. Browns running back Judkins, that's Travion Henderson's teammate.
Yep.
They split time at Ohio State.
Oh, I know.
Can we please, for the love of all things holy, get a Travion Henderson game so he doesn't have to hear his boy talk smack to him? You know, like Judkins is their offense. It ain't Dylan Gabriel. So I would love to see Travion get some love this week because you know they're going to hand the ball to Judkins.
100%. And I feel like this is where we can add the lack of respect that's kind of been on the run-stop defense of this Patriots team because, again, heading into week 6, I mean, they were sitting there only allowing, I think it was like 62 rush yards from teams. And they had at least seen 2 running back juggernauts to go against and did very well in making sure that they didn't have themselves a full parade versus them. So that part's going to be interesting, though. I think for the narrative, Henderson, this needs to be like his breakout game.
We've been saying that every damn week. I hope it's
But like I said, it doesn't have to be running either. It doesn't have to be running either. Just let him load up the numbers. Exactly, touches.
617-790-0928. Call us. Let's talk Pats. When we come back, we'll explore what's trending in the world of sports. Spoiler alert. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. We'll explain next right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Somebody going to jail. Time now for what's trending in the world of sports. Did you see what the Bruins did?
Did you see that you gave up the Hercules pose?
I did. I had
from
to.
A couple days
I got
ago?
hurt that day. I didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I think I pulled a lat. Listen, the Bruins do this every year. They did it again this year. They go to the Children's Hospital here in Boston, dressed up, of course, for Halloween. They visit the kids. This is awesome, Casey. I love that they do this. Full-blown Avengers this year, pretty much. But every year they dress up different themes, and they go visit the kids here. This is fantastic stuff from the Bees.
Yeah, heading off to Mass General Brigham. I hope I gave that the right emphasis that it needed. I'm still learning the pronunciations here, but you love it because think about it. Like, to be able to see your hero, and like, these guys are heroes to these kids on a day-to-day just because of what they do on and off the ice, but like, to see them in costume, I feel like I would absolutely lose my mind. And it was so fitting, the costumes and the ways that these guys suited up. You got Fraser Minton here, and what is it, Robin costume? Batman was in the mix. Sean Corrali makes a pretty sick Superman, not gonna lie. So like, imagine as a kid, like how fantastic it is to see your heroes actually look like heroes.
No doubt. And I also just think about how heavy a lot of this stuff these kids are dealing with. To be able to look up and see your favorite player dressed up in your favorite superhero costume coming to visit you. You know, to provide some light in your life. That just has to be an amazing feeling for these kids.
And outside of the annual Halloween visit where they dress up, I mean, the players talked about it leading up to Jimmy Fun and when they joined the set at Nesson for Jimmy Fun, like how much these hospital visits not only mean to the kids, but mean to them to be able to spend that time and to be a bright spot in, you know, some very, very, very tough times. All
right, in other local news, everyone's talking today about Cooper Flagg struggling in his NBA debut as the Mavs lose their opener.
Can I actually read you a tweet that I found?
Oh, there's tweets?
I know that, like, I like to get your reaction on the NBA scene, and I found something right here from Eric at 4 Deep Wins. Imagine thinking Cooper Flagg was going to be good. Ha-ha! He sucks.
Excuse me, Eric.
That was my supervillain voice for October, by the way.
I like that voice. I like your voice. I didn't like Eric's spelling. Or his tone. You gave him that word. That's not going.
That's true.
This is like
I helped
Eric.
him out a little bit.
Eric, how are you going to take shots at someone else, bruh? Cooper Flagg at that, an outstanding NBA player who will be just fine in his debut. How are you going to take shots when you can't even spell? You didn't even have spell check before you pressed send. I mean, come on, bro.
The comments didn't go for a spelling. The comments did mention, like, hey, can we just get Cooper? back at point guard. Period, point blank. And a thank you. There was a very kind thank you in the mix there.
Well, that's a problem. He is playing point guard, and that's not who he is. Look, I think.
Or get him away from point guard.
Yes, Cooper Flagg eventually will figure it out.
Yeah, stop playing point guard.
Stop playing.
You.
But listen, as always, I look at things when everyone zigs, I zag. Okay.
Yeah.
No one called him out for the spelling in the comments. I would have. Yeah. And I say eventually, I think he'll be out of that point guard situation. But he's learning valuable skills at that position from one of the greats all time at that position in Jason Kidd. That's exactly who I want teaching me. If I don't know how to really run the point, that's who I want teaching me.
But didn't they need him to come in and be like this elite scorer, and that point guard position's kind of take him out of that position?
I would say yes. I mean, look, I'm not a Mavs fan. I don't know what the hell they run offensively.
Yeah.
But I would say in theory, yes. And it showed last night. He had 10 points. He was 4 from 13 from the floor. But I don't give a damn. Cooper Flagg's going to be fine. I want to talk about Wemby. Because everyone's talking about Cooper Flagg. Before the game, all the pregame, is he a generational talent? Then after the game, is he any good?
Back to Cooper over Wemby?
Listen, Wemby had 40 points and 14 boards. Is anyone paying attention? This guy's from planet Krypton. I mean, they won that. They blew the Mavs out. What was the score? 125-92. Like, this Wemby dude, if healthy case, because he's had some issues.
Big asterisk.
He's had some health issues.
Yeah.
Blood clots. Like, this is serious stuff this guy has dealt with before.
Yeah.
If that's in his past, I knew from this offseason that this guy was going to go next level. We've already seen the size. We've already seen the skill set. But this offseason, he goes to Hakeem Olajuwon to learn post moves. Check. Okay, that's like an infinity stone. Then he just hangs out with KG for the summer.
True.
Not even work out, just hanging out. True. Tell me about how you're so crazy, KG, studying them, okay?
So getting like this whole monk vibe going.
Yes. He goes to a Shaolin monk, too.
Okay.
Shaves his head, sits there, does that whole thing. I'm telling you, this dude, Wemby, at this size and the skill set and the mentality he has, watch out NBA.
So
this guy's going to be a champion eventually.
Between health and the Mr. Miyagi mentality, then he's locked in to be the force, or if would you put the Infinity Stone in, he's going to be Thanos this season. I can't remember his name. Thanos coming at you. Thank you, Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid.
You've named every movie ever in 10 seconds.
You would think that I've been watching all of these things. I actually have not.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but big Karate Kid fan.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
I just want to get to this because a couple former Celtics are having some issues. Now, this is from ABC News. I'm going to take a serious tone here because this is serious stuff.
Dad, voice it.
Portland Trail Blazers head coach, our old friend here, Chauncey Billups, has been charged in an illegal poker operation tied to the mafia?
Goodness.
Huh? Law enforcement sources have told ABC News. Miami Heat guard, remember this guy, Terry Rozier, former Celtic, was arrested in a separate but related betting case? Casey, what in the hell is going on? Mads tweets, tied to the who? What? The mafia, Mads. You heard him.
When's the last time we heard about a scenario go down and it's tied to the mafia?
Now, look, I'm talking out the side of my neck here because I don't know the details. This is like breaking news stuff, right? But I do remember, I want to say earlier this summer, someone checked me on this, but Gilbert Arenas rented a house to a mafia member, unbeknownst to him.
Okay.
But he rented one of his houses to this guy.
Right.
They did some stuff, nefarious activity in said house. Gilbert Arenas was arrested and brought in for questioning. He's like, bro, I rented the house. I don't know. And they let him go. And it became kind of like a viral joke. Like everyone thought he was going to jail for all these years and he had nothing to do with anything. I don't know enough to know enough. But some of me, because of that scenario that just happened with this NBA player, gives me at least cause to pause and to be like, let's wait for the details to come out. But it ain't looking good. When you hear mafia, betting, poker, an active head coach,
all of
active
these
player,
things.
this is not good stuff, Case. These are not waters you want to be swimming in.
Actually, I'm not all that surprised, and here I am bringing it back to something TV or movie related, but the mafia can infiltrate some weird areas because as soon as I see Portland, I'm like, how did you get in touch with the mafia and why are you involved? Sylvester Stallone is a part of a show in Oklahoma where the mob just goes there because they needed to ship out there or expand their operations, even though they tried to blacklist the guy. But I haven't heard anything about people being tied to the Mafia in forever.
Listen, the
outside
Mafia
of New York and like those, those big heat map places.
The Mafia is everywhere when the Mafia was really a thing. I'm just like,
but
damn, we're still talking.
How many decades
That's what
ago?
I'm saying. Like, this is still happening to me. This story is fascinating. We'll keep you posted here on Boston is in the chat, of course. 617-790-0928. Call us. We're talking B's. We're talking C's. We're talking Pats. We're talking Mafia. We're talking everything. Call us, 617-790-0928. Boston has entered the chat. We just getting started. Stick with us.
Can you do your sirens again?
Woo, woo. That's the sound of the police.
How difficult will it be to balance the importance from an organizational point of view of wanting to wait on Jason Tatum until he is fully healed up, plus and his desire, it appears, to be back on the basketball court? Like, I feel like he wants to play tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Everybody knows exactly what's going to happen. We're not going to ever ask him to come back. We're assuming he's not coming back, and we're not even going to have any discussions about it. If at the end of, at some point, he's going to be ready to come back, whenever that is, we'll get 5 doctors' opinions. We'll ask him how he feels, and then we'll all decide jointly, let's do this, whatever month that is, whenever that is. But there's no discussions in the meantime. I mean, he's expected to not be here this season.
Wiggy's been counting on him back in January.
Yeah,
so
well, I mean, that's what he said. So he said he wants.
I've never look. I've bet on Jason Tatum basically since the day Danny brilliantly drafted him. We've been all in on Jason Tatum, and he's one of my favorite people on the planet for everything he does. And so I'll never bet against Jason Tatum, but nor will he be asked by the Celtics to come back early. That's not going to happen.
All right, back at it live in the Salem 5 studio. Now talking ball. PSA to all of the hoopers out there. Celtics are back in swing in case you missed it, and they fell short by just 1 point. I say just 1 point, but I'm feeling. I got to say what I'm feeling. It's very tense up here on the table between Travis Thomas and Ountea Campbell, host of Hold My Banner here on Nesson. Why'd you shake your head, Ountea?
I don't think it's that tense.
It ain't tense for you.
Okay.
It says for me.
I just want you guys to catch the vibe. Seas fall short to the 76ers,
He know where I'm going.
117 to 116. And look, there's a number of things to call Travis Thomas out about on this desk. Campbell, I defer to you. What did you make of the first game of the season?
Oh, well, I make the fact that Travis was right. I'll give him his credit.
I didn't know that's
he did tell me that the 76ers were going to win this game, but not for the right reasons.
He made it seem like it was going to be this epic blowout. Embiid was going to just completely punish the Celtics, embarrass them, take off his jersey, rub it in their face. Those are the vibes I was getting from Travis.
That's a fact.
It was absolutely none of that. It was actually kind of a shocker. I mean, VJ Edgecombe, I got to say his whole name, Valdez Drexel Edgecombe Jr.
Government. He went pure government. But what was this guy's name beforehand? Because I didn't know it in enough term to be like he's going to be that guy.
No, I mean, he's the number 4 pick in this NBA draft of this current year. His debut was amazing. I mean, immediately he got to it. The biggest takeaway that I got from this game was offensive rebound is still an issue for this team. Timely offensive rebounds as it goes with that. I mean, you see the game that these guys had with VJ Edgecombe, with Tyrese Maxey, and it all got started off of offensive rebounding. And honestly, Tillman ended up coming into the game because Keita gave up that tip out, and then it got Maxey that wide open 3 that started it going. And then what was he, 7 for 10 from 3 last night? Absolutely insane. They got to shore that up. They got to shore up the transition defense. They got to shore up the fact that they don't have rim protection. So these guys on the perimeter got to slow these guards down from getting there and just jumping in the dude's chest. I mean, the second dunk that I saw VJ have, I almost stood up out of my chair last night.
I did stand up.
And now his neighbors are concerned too. You did talk about the perimeter in terms of when this team would get beat out, but what did you make of game 1?
You see me writing, right?
I do.
I wrote down what Ountea said.
Are you getting into your attorney shift?
Yes, because when I sit here with this man, we do it all the time on Hold My Banner here on Nesson. Check it out. When I sit here with this man, it's like arguing with a lawyer. So I got to get my facts straight.
Get it right.
So I'm using your words.
Okay.
But he is a real hooper who was busy hooping growing
He was.
up, so.
Talk to me.
Transition defense, you said, yes?
Yep. Issue.
Offensive rebounding, you said, yes?
Yep.
Rim protecting.
Yep.
Okay, I added to it. Blowing leads late.
Okay, this is the first game. It's the first game.
Is it not a problem? Is this not something we've seen?
Yes.
Okay, let me continue. Let me continue.
Team, but
blowing leads late. Let me continue. Blowing leads late.
Yes.
Late game blunders, I wrote. Let me explain what I mean by that, and then I'll allow you to retort.
Yeah.
You don't have Jason Tatum.
Yep.
Jaylen Brown and Derek White both had 25 points last night. Looked pretty good to me.
They did.
Okay. Why, and we all love him, why is Peyton Pritchard getting the ball at the end of the game not once?
Twice.
He had 2 good looks at it. Yeah. Not one of those. You can get it to someone else. You can't get it to Jaylen Brown, who's supposed to be carrying you this season. So you can't get it to Derek White, who's cooking this night on this night. Instead, we get Pritch twice. I'm telling you. Can I see that whiteboard, please? This is the problem here with the Celtics, and we're going to see it all year. Thank you, Toby. That's a horrible throw.
Horrible hands.
I'll adjust.
Horrible hands.
We're going to see this all year.
As a reference to somebody else's.
Let me get that ISO, Jen A. Here's what we need Joe Mazzulla to do. Get a whiteboard, any whiteboard, and just draw a play. Take a timeout and say, hey, look, we're going to do this. We're going to get the ball to Jaylen Brown right here. Jaylen, if you don't have it, get it to Derek White. If he can't get it, then get it to Pritchard or whoever else. I would say Anthony Simons, but they took him out late inexplicably too.
Hey.
So
I have a feeling that if you threw a whiteboard at Mazzulla, it's going to go down exactly how it just went between you and Tobes.
Oh, you mean that in a blank whiteboard too?
Exactly.
Because he ain't writing a damn thing.
And you see, he was afraid of it after they got that defensive rebound after BJ missed the last of those 2 free throws.
Yeah.
He didn't want to call a timeout, and then JB called it for him. Look, I hear you, Travis. I get that you wanted to see JB get that opportunity at the end of the game, but this goes back to why you appreciate Jason Tatum so much. Just in that instance, right? Like with him in that game, you would have obviously won that game, no question. But if you have him at the end of the game, you actually get an opportunity to get the yin and yang, right? Sure. Because then he's focused on Jason Tatum, and then you get JB the ball. We've seen that a million times. We saw it against the Pacers 2 years ago in the Eastern Conference Finals, right? So you can get those opportunities more for Jaylen Brown if you do have a yin and yang. But nobody's afraid of Derek White. Nobody's afraid of Peyton Pritchard. They're afraid of JB. So they took the ball out of his hands.
So
well, then give it to Derek White, bro.
Okay, well, let's stick a pin in Derek White for just a second, because you mentioned how things managed late in the game. But Derek White apparently didn't really get many shots going, if not any, until almost the midway through the end of the second quarter. So did he need to get going sooner? Because some of those points, you lose by 1 point.
Right.
Some of those points and opportunities feel like a missed chance early on in the game. And if you're going to have a leader in Derek White with JT out, then is this where some shots should have really came up volume-wise?
What do you look? What you gotta say? Whiteboard.
That's my point. That's literally my point. And thanks for getting me a green. Your throw was terrible, but thanks for getting me a green one. I'm just going to keep this up here the rest of the year. I'm telling you, some of this stuff, we can talk talent because the rim protection. You're just not going to get it. I'll give you a point, right? I saw so many games last night, late games. Coaches made adjustments.
Yeah.
Like,
the
timeout.
Coaches win.
Let's talk. Draw this up, right?
Yep.
I don't think, to defend him a little, I don't think Joe Mazzulla can make adjustments because what the hell do you have in terms of size?
Right.
In terms of size. This is why I say there's a guy in Chicago who's really good, Vucevic.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Trade for him. The Bulls stink. Go get him by any means necessary. They probably can't afford him at this point. But you need a big, in my opinion, you need a big who can shoot in this system, and you need someone that can grab some boards. I don't think Vuce is the best rim protector I've ever seen, but damn it, he's a big body that can do something.
Right.
He can at least deter some people from coming in there. Right now, you have nothing.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is Joe Mazzulla is not great at this part of his game. He's a great motivator, but he's not great at this part of his game, and he doesn't have the pieces to grow in that part of his game because how do you adjust with no size?
That's fair. I won't hate on you for that take with Vucevic. I've obviously asked for Anthony Simons to be traded for him before the season even began, and I would have loved to see it, not because I don't like Simons, but just because I think the Celtics have a lot in that area and they could have used a little bit more in the front court. That was the biggest issue. VJ, Maxey, they saw those bigs and they said, oh, we're going to put them in foul trouble all night. And guess what? You know who's going to do that too? The Knicks.
Yes.
You know who's going to do that too? The Pistons.
Every team.
You know who's going to do that too? Every single team that they have coming up in this slate, they're going to see that and they say, oh, we can get to the Celtics by just getting their bigs out of the game, getting Tillman in foul trouble, getting Kata in foul trouble because they're foul prone. Great, let's go ahead and do it. One thing that I did want to note really quickly too, because, of course I was watching that game. I was at TD Garden last night for that game. Swung home. I had to see Cooper Fly. I heard you guys talk about Cooper Flagg's debut. But, man, somebody on Twitter was saying something about JT needs to go see the Shaolin monks. He needs to go get with the monks.
Stop it. They did not try to Miyagi Tatum. He hasn't even played
Because they watched how this man Wemby came back from injury and going crazy. JT, please, because we should be 1-0. Like I said, if JT's playing that basketball game, the Celtics win by 30.
Okay.
Please, JT.
So let's go there. Let's go there because we obviously bumped in with the fact that everyone is questioning when will we see Jason Tatum, and everyone's hoping that the miraculous quick recovery and him stealing treadmills and all these things are going to imply that we're going to see him sooner rather than later. Adam Kaufman sat at this desk and said, "Oh, January, February, by the way."
Yeah.
What say you, Ountea?
I say right after the trade deadline. So, yeah, around February, I think we're going to get Jason Tatum.
His face is still screwed up.
Especially after watching how this team is, playing without him. It's one of those things where he's looking, he's telling Kata to tuck his jersey in last night. Like, he's playing dad out there because he's itching to get back on the court.
Mix.
So, I think we're going to see him in February. I don't think it's going to matter. I think we need to start talking about A.J. DeBanza, Darren Peterson, whatever else is going on, Cameron Boozer, whoever we can get in a Celtics jersey next year, we need to be talking about that.
What would you have to do if you're the Celtics to get one of those players?
Lose.
Yeah, I got a different word. Tank,
no,
which is exactly we should not be talking about Jason Tatum coming back in February. Can I give you the next 7 games?
Go ahead.
Thanks. At MSG, at Detroit, at a skinny Zion, who will still be healthy at that time.
I'm not worried about Zion.
You're not worried about Zion?
No.
Okay. I'll check back with you in a couple games. Home against Cleveland. Back against the 76ers in Philly this time. Ime comes here. Yikes. You're going to lose all those games. You could be 0-7, and we're talking about Tatum.
Does a 1-point loss like this, even though they're saying they're not going to rush him back, they're going to check in with 5 doctors, all of the things, protocol, efficiency, do you think that 1-point losses like this, and say that they continue to keep it close with teams, is going to inspire them to be like, Tatum says he's ready, let's just go ahead and bring him in because that can elevate the play enough for us to get more wins instead of short losses?
That's where last night hurts. Because last night, Joel Embiid...
Because aren't we all sitting here saying, what if Tatum was in?
Well, listen. Joel Embiid is not himself, clearly.
No.
He had 4 points, 1 from 9 from the floor.
Are you just saying 20. That because, did you bet on him?
No, I'm saying you can look at him.
He's skinnier. I saw him up close.
I'm just making sure I'm a pocket protector, guys.
So I'm saying in a game where he is terrible and he should have terrorized you, but he can't because of health reasons, right?
Yeah.
That's the game you win.
That's why
night.
you lose.
Yes, the tempo was there, the scoring was there, but Maxey killed you. A rookie, Edgecombe killed you.
Yeah.
That's what hurts you. That's why I say they could lose all 7 of these damn games. That's my point. These are all good teams they open against.
I think there's a lot to be left on the table for this team. Seeing Derek White not getting going until late into the second quarter, as you brought up, seeing Peyton Pritchard the shooting wasn't there. They shot 26% and lost by 1. From 3.
Right.
They only, you know what I mean? So I think there's a lot left on the table for this team offensively. Defensively, there were some mismatch problems, some communication problems. There's a lot of things that they can clean up and get into a better situation. So I think we're going to see a couple wins. Obviously, I think coming out of this road trip, they probably will be about 1-3.
1-3. What say you for the next game?
0-7.
Oh, goodness.
All right.
Who do they play next?
I just told you.
The Pistons lost to the Bulls.
Yeah, Vooch killed him, too.
Okay, then.
Now, the Pistons are a talented team, so I could say that's 1 game for them. I can't say that for the Celtics. Where do you adjust in terms of size? You played basketball. When you have an undersized team, how do you adjust to that? You can't.
This can go off the Richter scale.
You can make shots.
You got to make shots.
You got to make
shots. So you live and die by the 3.
We need to hear from you.
Here we go again.
What do you think? What adjustments need to be made? 617-900-0928. Give us a call and let us know your thoughts on the C's. But after this quick break coming up, we pivot over to the B's. Is this a get-right spot versus the Anaheim Ducks tonight at TD Garden? We will find out. Don't go anywhere. Join us back here on Boston Has Entered the Chat.
Drum up, Missoula. Brew. Welcome back inside our Salem 5 studios for Boston Has Entered the Chat. Travis Thomas, the Kasey Hudson, breaking it on down here for the Bruins tonight, which I called the other day a get-right spot, potentially. Kasey said, well, don't be so sure. These Ducks are actually kind of decent to start this season. So 5 losses in a row now for the Bees. Is this a get-right game? Vegas, by the way, has the Bruins favored tonight.
Right.
Is this a spot that you can kind of stop the bleeding and get back on track if you're the Bruins?
Absolutely, especially if you aren't having, a bunch of self-inflicted wounds throughout the game. I just mentioned the fact that, this isn't one of those teams that you underestimate.
Right.
Something that we're waiting to get clarity on is Chris Kreider was out Tuesday with an illness, but Kreider has been extremely dangerous for this Ducks team, kind of having his own revenge tour versus the Rangers letting him go. But the mix of leadership and youth that you have on this Ducks roster is pretty tremendous. And one of the first things that the Bruins are going to have to get back to in order to make this game theirs is they're going to have to be the better forechecking team.
Yeah.
The Ducks have been tremendous with the forecheck, and you've got young guys that can dish out the puck very quickly. And something else that's been really, really tremendous in their favor is cleaning up rebounds and just being complete nuisances in front of the net. So whoever's in goal for the Bruins has to be ready for big bodies to consistently be in front of the net trying to find those opportunities. And their top six, they've got a lot of frame in their top six. Between Leo Carlsson, who we knew was a big guy, coming out of the draft, being impactful for them. Alex Killorn, Harvard's very own, one of the best forecheckers when he's called for it. But he is definitely elevated and kind of mentored these guys to step up their game forechecking wise. So these are a number of reasons why you can't underestimate this Ducks team.
Sure.
And then Dostal, between the pipes, more likely, he's been someone who now they've just put all of their chips on the deck for him to be their leading goalie and to be a stout goalie, nonetheless, for them to keep games closer.
Listen, thank God this is Boston has entered the chat and not Anaheim has entered the chat, because who the hell wouldn't want to watch that? But a quick glance at their schedule, I see a pattern already. They lost to the Kraken, they lost to the Canes, and they lost to the Blackhawks. Kraken and the Canes are respectable, and we think the Blackhawks are a lot better now.
Yeah.
Their wins, Sharks, Pens, and Preds. Could I not say this is a step up in competition for them? Couldn't I look at this as you haven't beat anyone any damn good anyways?
Notable.
So this is a good, notable. So this is a good spot for the Bruins at home.
Yes, absolutely a good spot for the Bruins at home. They kept it interesting. That's why I say that we're not going to discount them. There was a number of moments throughout the first two periods that they made it a better competitive game versus a Canes team that is, of course, projected to go right back to a deep run in the postseason. But that's why I said if no self-inflicted wounds take place for the Bruins, this is definitely a get-right spot. Something the Predators did very well versus the Ducks was completely command the neutral zone. We saw that be a strong point for the Bruins in the first couple of games and then kind of lost touch there a little bit. So I feel like, again, doing everything right, making sure that they're communicating, making sure that turnovers aren't this big factor and play a part of their game, then this is where we really just need to see the consistency in scoring. And we're not just going to sit here and look at David Pastrnak and ask him to just wield them to a win.
Yeah.
This is a get-right spot and a chance to see different scoring. And we were saying that at one point because the second line was getting involved and very much so a pillar to them trying to get back in the game versus the Panthers. But this is where we probably need to see your bottom six be that formidable, irritating line to play against, and your top six finally open up in the scoring.
I can't figure out how to bet on the Bruins. Honestly, I was betting unders, and then all of a sudden they start scoring goals, and then games I bet the over, they don't. I don't know what to do here. The total's at 5.5 in this game. Do you see a low-scoring or a high-scoring game tonight?
That's tough, honestly, because like you said, it's kind of gone either which way. It depends on what gets past the Bruins defense, honestly, because they have the capability to put up 3 goals on the Ducks. Okay. But are they going to allow that? Because something that we saw that kind of hindered them on the road trip was that as soon as they either opened the scoring or tied things up, seconds later or under a minute, your opponent is on the board. Their opponent's ability to respond has just been too gifted throughout the last 5 losses. So if you do that with this Ducks team, then we're looking at something that can be 3 goals apiece, and that 4th goal will be the victor who comes out on top.
What about any lineup changes tonight? Do you see any shakeups, anything different? I'm sure Marco Sturm's trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, well, when it comes to the top 6, we've seen that one continue to get moved around quite a bit. One of the most notable things being that Pavel Zacha moved into that center spot, his sweet spot, per se. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept it at that, because there was a huge driving force outside of their 4th line, as always this season, that helped them out, and that was Casey Middlestat at left wing, Pavel Zacha at center, and Victor Arvidsson on the right wing over there. So I feel like that's going to maintain. A changeup that could be in the pipeline here is the fact that Jordan Harris got put on IR yesterday. We're still waiting to see how Hampus Lindholm is feeling. He was on the ice for optional skate, or ahead of optional skate. There was footage of him just kind of skating around by himself. He told the Bruins he wasn't good to go before the last game. So I don't know if this is a situation or if this is a team that they want to try to get him back into the mix for. Not that they don't need it or want it, but still, we'll have to see, how he's feeling, how his legs are feeling this morning when the news comes out. If Lindholm is not ready to join the pairings back on the back end there, then Michael Callahan got the call up from Providence yesterday. Already was with the team on the ice yesterday for optional skate. I feel like this could be an interesting addition if he ends up going in over Lindholm, because Michael Callahan is more of a true stay-at-home defenseman in a sense. Got a couple call-ups at the end of last year, did pick up a goal, posted 9 shots on goal through his time up here, but I feel like seeing a true stay-at-home D in the mix of this system and going against this Ducks team can kind of settle things down a little bit and allow the Bruins to control and dictate the pace. I did have a chance to catch up with Michael Callahan yesterday for Bruins Kids Club, where the kids get to skate for free. Take a listen here.
Hanging out at Kids Club. Really awesome experience that the Bruins put together here because they get to skate for free. When was the first skating memory that you had?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would have to say learning to skate in Norfolk, Massachusetts with my uncle is probably the first thing I remember vividly. But yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of learn to skates for me in Franklin and in that area. So yeah.
How bad were you?
Oh God, you'd have to ask my parents. I don't know. Probably.
You blocked it out.
Probably pretty bad, but I was young, so I don't know.
Okay. But what does events like this mean? Because as you know, hockey can be a very expensive sport, hard to get into. A lot of sacrifices are made amongst neighbors and friends. Now you have this opportunity for free.
Absolutely, it's great. Great for the kids. Just talking to some of them, seems like they come from all over, even some from out of state. So. It's great to see them all just come out and have a lot of fun. And like you said, it being free, it's a great resource, so it's great.
Yeah. Pretty insane question because of the hockey culture up here, but being a local guy, playing at Providence, have you seen the hockey culture just grow even more and more people getting involved?
I would say so. I think, around here, hockey, it may not always be the most popular sport locally, but some of the most diehard fans are hockey fans, and kids growing up around here, it's a big deal. And whether that be, mites or AAA or all the way up through high school and everything else. So it means a lot to the people around here, and it's great to see, events like this where, kids have so much fun.
Yeah, and the fun is the most important part, especially depending on how far you want to go. I asked Jeff, he gave an interesting question or answer, but if you were to coach right now, what's your coaching style? What kind of coach would you be?
Oh, God. I would like to think I'd be a pretty easygoing players coach. I don't know if I could yell at too many kids. That would be tough for me. So, hopefully it'd be, fun to play for and someone kids, could come up to and ask whatever. So, yeah.
Oh, Michael, I feel you more than you ever know. I am the same way. Yeah, it's really tough. Both my kids play sports, and I am the worst. I am so loud and just go, what are you doing? Yelling at the ref. I'm not even the coach. I'm just a parent. I'm waiting.
So you're that ejectable parent.
Oh, I'm definitely getting thrown out. It's happening. It's just a matter. It's not if, it's when. As far as Michael Callahan goes, though, on the ice. I mean, if he plays, Case, what kind of impact can he make realistically for this team?
I think it's just something to where you're looking for a simple, sturdy game out of your defenseman. That's all he has to do is stick to a simplistic game. I mean, when you look at ratings, the plus-minus for him, he's sitting at a -5 in his time being called up with the Bruins through 17 games. And sometimes you look at that and get alarmed. But this is where a number of fans are like, I like the eye test versus the stat test. Because depending on what's breaking down in front of you and the communication style that's taking place, or who your goaltender is and what form they're in, that's where these ratings can kind of get a little out of hand. So I kind of mentioned briefly beforehand, has more of a true stay-at-home identity. And just some of the breakdowns that we're seeing kind of getting into the defensive zone, putting the goalies in pressured positions. Part of that has been you've got an offensive defenseman as your last line of defense, and the cleanup has just become overwhelming or too difficult for them. So that's why this could be interesting. And plus, Andrew Peeke has actually been a very polished guy throughout this entire season. Very much up there when it comes to blocking shots, just being very smart when it comes to managing the puck and making sure he's not doing too much. He's not getting too cute with anything. So if he ends up, him being Callahan, coming in and pairing with Peeke, who Harris was with, then I feel like they can kind of be a simplistic, sturdy pairing on that back end. kind of calm the chaos down a little bit, because again, where the Ducks can kind of come in a little bit, and where they have a few very talented two-way players, like the energy there to potentially overwhelm their opponent could happen, but they can send their offense in waves, is what I'm trying to say.
You used the word sturdy a few times as it
Yes.
pertains to Michael Callahan. He looks on camera to be 7'9". Is he a big body?
He's a bigger guy, but
Okay.
I think it's like I'm 5'1", and like me on my skates, I might be 5'4". Like that's as good as it gets, guys. Like, my license wouldn't even agree to call me 5'4". They were like maybe 5'2". I had to sit there and debate with the dude for quite some time.
Well, I don't like to say you're short. I like to say you're vertically challenged.
Pint-sized.
Now, we talked about this with Joe Mazzulla with the Celtics, and I said there's no adjustments for him to make as pertains to size, as
Right.
pertains to rim protecting and rebounding.
Right.
Marco Sturm, though, hearing you talk, it feels like he does have some levers he can pull with this team in terms of lineup. You talked about some of the changes he could make.
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't have the same problem as a Joe Mazzulla.
to a degree, because like we're seeing where kind of some changes come about in the fourth line. Like VL comes in, but they usually kind of pull him onto the roster when they need more of that heavy hitter, heavyweight guy to get into the mix. Have very physical presence to his game. Already picked up his first goal as a Bruin over the road trip. But then like when you need speed, when you need somebody who's going to very much have those momentous punches, Beecher has drawn into the lineup, and Beecher played very well with his call during the road trip too. So it depends on what they're seeing in terms of what needs to be done. They don't have to come in physically strong versus this Ducks team. They don't have to try to wear them out, because you see that the Ducks conditioning kind of wears as the periods go along, which is why they started off strong versus decent teams and kind of fizzled out at the end there.
Sure.
But youth is still very much part of like the DNA of this Ducks team. And so being able to have that large ice time is different. I mean, McTavish is probably one of their best players in terms of being able to stay on the ice for long periods of time.
Look, I'm looking at the schedule. Ducks tonight. Colorado comes back for a rematch. You were competitive in that game.
Yep.
You go to Ottawa. Isles come here. Sabres come here. Winnable games here. There's some winnable games in this for the Bruins, yes?
Starting with tonight.
Okay.
We'll see how things go against Colorado, but then Senators, things are falling apart.
Right.
Brady Tkachuk out for some time, and then you've got familiarity in going against Ullmark.
Sure, right.
Yeah, as
Our
long
old
as he's,
friend.
Yeah, exactly. We love seeing old friends. Isles,
Yeah.
though, you can't count them out. I mean, their young defenseman is breaking records time
True.
and time again, and as Barzal is feeling himself,
Yeah.
and the rest of the lineup, then that one's going to be a bit of like.
But then after them, you get the Sabres. You can damn sure count them out. Except Tage Thompson, who I love. I do love him. 617-790. Yeah, I love him. 617-790-0928. Call us, get in here, talk everything. B's, C's, and all the between. Pats, too. Hey, we're done here at Nesson, but Nesson Nation, we're over there. Join us, 8 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday on Nesson, 9 a.m. on Nesson Nation. The party continues. Come with us.